A little more.
What's up, YouTube? It's Cordless. I'm back with you again today on another episode of Lucidworks Streams. Today we're going to be covering the application we wrote called Socketeer, which is a Twitter monitoring and analysis tool. If you're not familiar with Lucidworks, we have written a product called Fusion that allows you to build search applications right inside of the product and then use them to solve a variety of search-related problems. Our friends over at Reddit used it to solve their problem of search, and we're pretty proud of that, so I figured I'd mention it now before I get into it. Remember, if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. That way we know that you're out there and listening to us, and also subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great videos about a wide variety of search-related topics. Today we're going to be looking at the Socketeer application in the projects directory under Streams. This is located on GitHub, github.com/lucidworksstreams. And I will mention that we're going to do a couple of things here with this application, which you can use as a learning exercise. We use stream-based connectors, so we're connecting to Twitter, passing user IDs in. We've got some middleware that manages adding the IDs to the product. The server is going to be started on Google Cloud, so you need a Google Cloud account to be able to do this. That's not to say that you can't start the server another way. You can totally run it on your laptop if you want to and download it there. But the easiest way to do this, run through this demo, is to use Google Cloud. I'm going to start by copying the git and cd commands, and then I'm going to go into my demos directory and do a clean checkout of this and change into that directory, the project directory for Socketeer. Once I do that, I'm going to need to create a credentials file, and that's done in secret sample. This contains the sample example of that. If you don't know how to grab your Twitter credentials, you can click on this link, how to create a Twitter application. And if you don't know how to create a Google Cloud API key, you can click on the Google Cloud API Credential Manager and then just create a new API key by clicking Create New Key. I'm not going to do that because I have my keys in there and I don't want to mask them. But what I am going to do is I'm going to copy this file, which has just dummy keys in it. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to go into that directory and I'm going to VI the secrets sample file. And I'm just going to delete this whole thing and insert that other, and I'm going to save it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the secrets sample file over to secrets, spelling it correctly. And then that's what you're going to do. Now I have to do an extra step here, which is I'm going to copy that secrets file out into secrets so that I have correct secrets in there to start it. So those have my real secrets in there, but you can't see them. And then I'm going to run start Socketeer. If you want to run this in production, you can put a -p or a --prod or --production on there, and it will start it up, and it won't make it preemptible. Normally, when you start it like what I just did, it's going to make it a preemptible instance, which means that Google will shut it off after 24 hours. Sometimes they shut it off a little sooner than that. So just be warned that Google may shut it down for you. Now what this is going to do, it's going to go out and provision the server. It's going to check out the repo. It's going to start Fusion. It's going to build and install the application and the plugin. And then when it's ready, you'll be able to use these links down here at the bottom to log into it. Now it takes about 10 minutes for this to provision and fire up. So we're going to take a little break while mine does that and let Eric Hatcher walk you through how the middleware and application was built.
Hi there, I'm going to do a little talk here about the Socketeer application and my role in that. First I'm going to start with the kind of the overarching goal, do that in haiku form here. The overarching goal was really to kind of monitor Twitter on a number of accounts and then apply semantic knowledge graph queries to that. And that was the overarching mission of the Socketeer project. My role in it, as I translated as a developer, was to do this second haiku here. Was at the lowest level, the Fusion Twitter data source, Twitter stream data source, manages the stream by ID. However, humans want to manage and need to manage by the handles that we have for the Twitter accounts. So therein lies some Fusion web app middleware where we can provide an application and some middleware to do lookups between IDs and handles. So that is this Socketer dev application. We live this thing on the streams repo at Lucidworks on GitHub and under the project Socketer. And then under that is where I stepped in and created a dev project and a web app and an app. And what that boils down to is being able to package an app and then being able to deploy that app right into Fusion. And so I'll go through that in a little bit more detail in a second, but first let me import this application. So that was the zip file, the application that just got built. And then we provide credentials. These credentials are the Twitter keys to be able to crawl the Twitter handles, as well as to manage the lists and do the lookups between IDs and handles. A couple more seconds and we've got our application deployed. At the end of this whole process, we end up with an editor application. Effectively, it's a pretty simple big blank box where you type in folks' Twitter handles and then simply hit submit. And that saves that into the Fusion data source. So I'll just take a quick look at that and what that looks like on the Fusion side of things. So if we look at the tweets data source within the Socketer application that just got installed, we'll see the keys and so on here, and we'll also see the handles translated to IDs on the back end of the data source on the Fusion side of things. So our application was basically a proxy to look up IDs and then to manage this list. And there was a fair bit of development process behind the scenes there. From development perspective, I wanted to be able to quickly iterate and deploy this application, in particular the web application. So I have developed a build file using Ant that can uninstall the web application and that can install the web application, as well as package the web application that you saw. To package a web application, we didn't need any credentials because we're not working directly with a live Fusion. We're simply building a zip file from source code and doing some compilation of a servlet. But when we do this dev cycle here, we want to uninstall the web app and install it very quickly so that I can make a change to the application and see the results of it. So doing this build as a developer, what it does is compiles the servlet, packages all that up into the right format as a full-featured Fusion application with an embedded web application, and voila, we now have redeployed this web application that we see from right here.
All right, thank you, Eric. I still have no idea how you write those haikus. In the meantime, the server should now be running again. It takes about 10 minutes to do that. And I will note that Eric did most of his development on his MacBook. So that's why you saw him installing the application like you did using the import function instead of just running a script and starting it in the cloud like I'm doing. Whenever I wrote this script, I just made it install the application automatically. So it'll already be running for you once the server is provisioned. In order to get into the editor, you're going to click on this bottom link and show you the editor page. This is simply a page for adding new accounts to the system for monitoring. So I'm going to go ahead and add an account in here and then click submit at the bottom. If you would like to take one out, you just simply select it and delete it and then click submit again and it'll take it out automatically. I'm going to add it back in because I'm going to show you an example of myself tweeting and it picking that up. To log into the UI of Fusion, you're going to click on the link. It's going to show you the login page. You're going to make that admin and whatever you picked as your password. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get a little quick start guide, which I've already dismissed, but you can just click on the X at the top right to dismiss that, and then click on the app card, and then you're going to go into data sources, tweets, and run, and you're going to click start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go tweet real quick. And then I'm going to pop back over into the Fusion interface, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the Data Sources tab, and I'm going to go to the Query Workbench. And there you can see that tweet. I'm going to set the display fields to be my user screen name, and the description, description field to be the tweet itself. And then you can see that tweet that I just did there. I have another instance that I'm running that has a lot of data in it that I've been running for a couple days, and I'm going to show you a couple of things with that real quick. Again, same general process. We're going to go into the Socketeer application. It's going to load up the pipeline and then the search results. This particular data set, I'm going to show you how to load it real quick using the other server, but first I want to explain what's going on here. So this is the UI. We do boosting based on time. So recent tweets are boosted to the top. And then we have a couple of facets that we've added over here for convenience. So we have user screen name, tag text coming through. You can see that net neutrality tag. And user location, things like that. You have other field facets available to you, which will be listed over underneath the filter for add field facet. If you have enabled the Google Vision component with your Google API key, you will also get Google Vision fields that will be coming in that you can use for searching. That's not enabled in this particular demo, so I'm not going to cover it. Now, you're not always going to want to use the editor for adding and deleting users. You might want to do this programmatically, which we've made it easy for you to do that. One thing you're going to need to do before you do any programmatic adding and deleting is you're going to want to stop the crawler or the connector. And once that's stopped, then I'm going to clear out my data source real quick, just because I want a clean set of data here. And now that I have that, I'm going to go over and I'm going to run the add.sh file or bash script in the samples directory. I'm going to put in the IP address of the server that I'm going to send the data to, and then I'm going to type in the file name. In this case, this is the House of Representatives screen names, and then I'm just going to hit enter, and then it's going to start adding them. It does about a second delay between each of the ads so that you don't overload your Twitter account. They will rate limit you if you do too many ads at once. And because there's a lot of people in this file, well, then it takes it a while to do that. And you can see them loading in here now. So that would take a while to run. It probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes to add all the senators and representatives for the US Congress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this. And then I'm going to switch over to the other server real quick, which is the server that has all the data in it. And let me just do that right now. This has about 2 million documents in it. And I'm going to be querying that server, so you can see that 35.233 there matches that IP address there. And I'm going to ask it for the term summer, which I could do in here inside the UI in the search box up here. And you can see that I've got back a bunch of results. There's about 1,600 documents that have the word summer in them. And I have some breakdowns over here, some faceting going on. But if I really want to get some related terms to summer, I can go ahead and run that SKG query, which will use the semantic knowledge graph plugin that's been installed with it to get some additional terms. And here we can see that summer and Activision and vacation or activism And vacation and tents and gasoline are all sort of related to the term summer, which is true. And well, you can tell people are worrying about interns as well, because, you know, whenever it becomes summer, you hire summer interns, right? So, well, I think that's about it. There's so much that can be done with this, with Twitter. There's so many different ways you can pivot on the data and show relationships between different types of entities and structures of semantic usages on Twitter that, well, I'm just going to leave it up to y'all to figure out the rest of it. But if you need any help with it, be sure and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. And if you think that your company can benefit from our technology, be sure and check out the rest of our website and learn more about our product. We really appreciate you joining us today, and I hope you have a great one. Take care. Cordless out.
Do you like another cigarette?
All right, what is up, YouTube? It's Cordless here, back again today with the Sepet?